Did you know that we are in the midst of a high frequency blossoming of interconnectedness that will give us access to the quantum soup itself? I'm kidding. We are talking about bullshitting today, and I thought we could do with a quick refresher. Hi, Amrit here, co-founder of Core Voice, and in this episode of Core Insights, I want to share findings from a paper that looked at how susceptible a bullshitter is to bullshit. That is, if you are someone who spouts nonsense yourself, then does that make you better at recognizing nonsense from others, or it makes you more likely to believe in it? In this study, the researchers Littrell Risco and Fushlang conducted 3 studies where self-reported bullshitters participated. So the objective of all the 3 studies was to understand the relationship between bullshit frequency and receptivity to bullshit. So the researchers categorized bullshitting into 2 kinds, persuasive and evasive. Persuasive bullshitting is when you are bullshitting to impress or fit in by exaggerating your capabilities, ideas, or knowledge. An example would be when, say, an executive uses some empty buzzword-heavy proclamations to, try to impress his or her co-workers, or maybe to influence shareholders and things like that. Evasive bullshitting is when you strategically bend the truth to avoid potential social harm. For example, a politician intentionally responding to journalists with some ambiguous and non-relevant answers. Alright, on to the 3 studies. So in the first study, the researchers asked 261 participants to rate themselves on a bullshit frequency scale for both persuasive and evasive bullshitting. After that, they were shown a few statements to respond to. These statements could be answered in true or false, so that their receptivity to bullshit could be tested. The questions that were asked were similar to the thing I began this episode with, right? They were designed to test pseudo-profound bullshit receptivity of the participants. And these questions were designed to test for scientific bullshit and fake news and things like that. So what did the researchers find? Those who bullshit to persuade were more likely to fall for bullshit themselves compared to those who bullshitted primarily just to evade. So then the researchers did 2 more studies to go deep into understanding this relationship, right? The second study was similar to the first, but in the sense that once again another set of participants were tested on their bullshit frequency and receptivity. But this time, their cognitive abilities were also tested for both intellect and reflexivity. So for this, the researchers basically asked them few questions in math and verbal, like, I frequently take time to reflect on my thoughts. So they have to answer that in true or false. Or another question could be, thinking about my thoughts makes me more confused. Again, a binary true-false choice question. So what was the finding of the second study? The results showed that certain aspects of how our brains work, like metacognition and cognitive ability, they are tied to both our tendency to dish out bullshit, and overall it was pretty much consistent with the findings of the first study. But none of these 2 studies still explain why do persuasive bullshitters tend to fall for bullshit themselves. So a third study was conducted by these researchers where they wanted to find this out. This time, they divided the participants into 2 sets. One set was asked to rate some statements displayed based on how profound they sounded, and the other set was asked to rate them based on how profound they actually were. At the end of it, the key takeaway was that high persuasive bullshitters were often mistaking a superficial profoundness for actual profoundness, while high evasive bullshitters were able to distinguish between sounding profound and being profound. And that sort of explains why these 2 kind of bullshitters, the persuasive and the evasive ones, have different resistance to fall for bullshit themselves. Alright, hope this insight was useful. See you soon with some more insights. Until then, keep in mind that even if you yourself bullshit a lot, it's your choice, it doesn't necessarily make you better at recognizing bullshit from others, at least not if the reason you like bullshitting is primarily to impress or persuade others. But sure, if you are bullshitting just to evade, then you probably are a master of your craft. Keep at it.